How we doing, YouTube family? You know, it's the host of Seeking Knowledge Podcast, DeMarcus Brewster, and today, this morning, I have this special guest in with me. I met her on the OWL app. Y'all, please tap into this OWL app. You can meet such wonderful people. But I met Miss Coni Meyers on the OWL app, and we had a discussion. And when I say she's such an amazing person, when she got a first of all, she have a heart to help people. I'm gonna give her flowers now. She have a heart to help people. But the nonprofit she started, like she's a author, she's a trainer, she's a founder and CEO of her own company. I'm just gonna shut up and let her share her story because she's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Demarcus. Well, I'm going to be 75 this year. And what I can tell you is that I used to think I was like a cat with 9 lives. I had 9 different careers.
I
But
love
in
it.
reality, since my mid 20s, every single thing I have done throughout my life was actually training for what I'm doing right now. I truly, truly believe. My first book was called Crystalline Moments, and crystalline means sparkly or clear. So moments of clarity. And throughout our lives, we have amazing crystalline moments, and every single day we have little thoughts that are crystalline moments. And sometimes we have horrific crystalline moments.
Agree.
And every single one of them have a gift or an opportunity. My husband passed away in 2011, and I tried to go back to my old life. I was a founder of 2 companies. One was the largest home inspection network in the country when we sold it. The second was an online education platform, which I was working at the time. And I tried to go back to my old life, and I couldn't. The universe was saying, net, 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 net. You got to be doing something different. And what I'm doing today is 180 degrees different than what I was doing then. So I thank my husband every single day because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if he hadn't passed. So if you've had some kind of trauma, you've lost a loved one, or you've lost a home, I mean, all those things are going through a divorce, all those traumatic things that happen in our lives. I like to start by talking about that because everything happens and there's always a gift, no matter how horrific. And when you're going through something, just remember that. So that brings me to what I'm doing today. Since my husband passed away, I got 3 certifications: life mastery consultant, which is kind of like having a master's degree in life coaching. I got my John Maxwell uh, certified business and leadership coaching.
Little book I'm
And
reading
I
now.
saw that on your thing, and I'm like, yes, I'm talking to a soul person here with me. I also I have 6 best-selling books. The first one was Crystalline Moments. It's now in its 3rd edition. And the
Congratulations.
book that I wrote is the most important one. Well, I have to say Crystalline was the most important. This is the second most important book.
Congratulations. That's
This is,
why
go
that's
ahead.
why I the name of this broadcast, Are You Prepared? Because I've seen it and I love that. I love it, that whole movement. And I just wanted to say, Miss Connie Myers, I like how you focus more on your mindset. I like how you said it was your husband that gave you the push. And you said if you go through some trauma, I heard Bob Proctor say, in any situation, whether it's positive or negative, you got to see the positive in this situation. He gave an analogy of what if somebody interviewed him. He was like, what if my car get stuck on the side of the road? He was like, it's up to you, since you're a spiritual being. It's up to you to figure out the positive in this situation. And once I heard him say that, that's how I just go through life.
I want to give you a really good example of that, Demarcus. So when I was in my mid 20s, I was Rookie of the Year for Metropolitan Life Insurance. And I broke away with what was at the time my sales manager. We opened up our own insurance agency. And everything was going along great. We were master GAs. We had like 100 general agents underneath us. We were making great money. We were providing great service. And then he got involved with drugs. And over a period of about a year, he deteriorated to the point where he could barely speak. And I decided that I couldn't take it anymore and I left. Well, we had had all of these master GA contracts, which are hard to get. And I went back to all of them. And it turns out I was a very naive farm girl from Nebraska. And when somebody told me something, I believed them.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, even though he told me that I was a 50-50 partner, I wasn't on a single one of those contracts. And I ended up losing $250,000 in 1980.
Mm.
I can tell you, I had a nervous breakdown. Fortunately, I had a friend that came in and dragged me to Oregon, which I ended up living at for 28 years. But about 2 years after that devastation, I wrote him a thank you letter because I realized that if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am. I married my last husband. I was just I was grateful. So you never know when those crystalline moments are going to bring you something better. That's just like I always talk about failure. Failure is never, ever failure. It is always just a course correction.
Ooh,
And
I
if you
like
keep those things in your back of your mind and you say, okay, this stinks, but what is the gift? What is the opportunity? I may not know it right now, but hang on to that. Hang on to when you're going through grief or you're going through some horrible situation. Hang on to the fact that there's something on the other side, like Bob
that.
Proctor, it's going to be better, right? So that brings me to my nonprofit is called Crisis Knowledge Management and Preparedness Foundation. And I started it because I was a FEMA inspector for 7 years, did over 50 disasters, trained thousands of inspectors. And the one thing I could tell you is that nobody is as prepared as they should be. And I mean that, nobody. Even the people that say they're prepared, they're not prepared. And whether it's mentally, whether it's leadership, whether it's communication, whether it's their urgency kits, whether it's their plans, their business continuity, I can guarantee you that every person I talk to so far, I haven't met that perfect person yet, that has everything together they need to have. Now, do I say go out there and say, go get everything put together all at once? No, because it'd be so overwhelming. And in 2019, I work a lot with the California Association of Realtors, and they have my Kick Butt Leadership stuff on their website. And they put out an email saying, these are all the topics that we want. Now, remember, this is 2019. Little did we know what was about to come. And they had topics that they wanted, and one of them was disasters. Well, I had never gotten around to writing that book I wanted to write. So I wrote them back. I said, nobody gets that but me. And I wrote a simple little 3-hour course that I presented at their big meetings in October. I also I had a panel I put together that had a FEMA director. It had the LA County CERT program. I had the gentleman who was the association executive that went through the mudslides and the fires in Santa Barbara, where they still have not found 29 people. Another person that was on the panel was a woman who lived in Malibu all of her life. Her mom lived in their family home. The Malibu fires came through. Her mom's home was destroyed. She had real estate agents, about 30 or 40 real estate agents. Many of them lost their homes. She and her husband thought they were safe because the fire was going this way, away from their house. And in the middle of the night, they got a knock on the door that says, you have 15 minutes to get out. Now, I want you to think about that. You have 15 minutes to get out. People say, oh, well, I have food in my cabinet. I have this in the water. And I've got this and that, and it's here and there. You have 15 minutes. And what's going to happen to your brain the minute you say, they tell you? She says she spun around for half of that time trying to figure out what to take. When they got to the shelter, she had 2 little girls, 4 and 6. They had brought nothing for their kids. What I can tell you is if you start planning now and you start you're creating that crystalline moment, right? You're becoming your own first responder. And that is the most important thing because those first responders, those firemen, and those police officers that you think are going to come and help you, they could be 24 to 48 hours away.
Right.
So you and your people around you have to be that. So in my nonprofit, we decided, I tried for about 1.5 years to educate adults. And FEMA calls it preparedness procrastination. It's hard to spit out. And it's because it's kind of like having a will. People don't want to think about a will because they have to think about dying. It's the same thing. You have to think about a preparedness. You have to think about there's going to be something happens, even though in January of 2020, before all of COVID, 61% of Americans believed they were going to be affected by a disaster over the next 3 to 5 years. Little did they know. So what I'm telling you is start taking those steps right now. Start my nonprofit working with adults. They say, oh yeah, I need to do that. And I need to be able to get prepared. I need to make some plans for my business. 75% of all businesses are out of business in 2 years if they don't have a plan. So where does that put your business? So they're all saying, yeah, we need to be, but they're not doing it. So I formed the nonprofit, and my first initiative is called Kits for Kids.
I like that. I read that. That's
I,
beautiful.
I truly believe, DeMarcus, that the best way to get to our adults is through our children, because we all want to protect our children, right? And especially right now with everything that's happened, the school shootings, the COVID, the bullying, the social media, all of the pressures that are on kids. I read that 1 out of 4 children in this country are suffering from PTSD. And then you add to that climate change, and whether you believe in climate change or not, it really doesn't matter. It's happening. And you're going to see it when it comes to insurance premiums, whether it's car or homeowners. You're going to see it in whether if you want to get a mortgage. The mortgage companies are now taking climate risk into effect when they're deciding what your rate's going to be and whether or not they're going to provide you a loan. The same as insurance. 1 out of 25 homes in this country are going to be uninsurable. They almost already are now. So all of that is to say to you that it doesn't matter whether you believe in climate change or not. That's okay if you don't. That's your own belief. However, you're going to pay the price no matter whether you believe it or not. So let's start working on how we can mitigate, how we can be prepared. And the Kits for Kids is the very first beginning. Now, this is not the entire kit. I'm waiting for all the pieces. But this little kit is going to help protect our kids. It's going to go in the bottom of their everyday backpack. It's going to have a tracker on them that is protected so other people can't get access to it. But the parents and one other person can be get a hold of the tracker or find out where they are. It's going to have a Mylar blanket. It's going to have a whistle. It's going to have emergency numbers. It's going to have light. There's the basic stuff. Like I said, this is not complete by any stretch, but we're going to put those in the bottom of backpacks. And while we're going to have these events, our community events, where we bring professionals together. Think about this, DeMarcus, your business, if you're out there and you become a community leader, who are they going to call when they want to talk to DeMarcus? They're going to call you, right? They're going to look for your services because you're making a difference. 87% of Americans will choose a individual or a service or a company over another company if they have a social cause. Now, I can't think of a better social cause than protecting our kids and protecting our climate, because nothing else matters. If we the other things are important, but if we don't first start protecting ourselves and our children, then nothing else matters. So the Kits for Kids, we're doing events, we're bringing in media, we're bringing in leaders, and I'm teaching people how to be like DeMarcus. I can teach you how to be a community leader and go out there and provide all the information and be a part of the Kits for Kids, where as the kids are going down the aisle and they're putting all of the individual items into this bag, they're being trained by why it's important, why it's not a toy, how you use it, and at the same time, who's tagging along? The parents, right? So the parents are coming along and they're listening to this and they want to protect their kids. And at the same time, I'm saying to them, okay, you need to now have an emergency kit at home. I can guarantee you 90% of kids do not have an emergency kit at home that has additional items above what needs to go in the Go kit. Things like a change of clothes and other items. So as we're walking down the aisle, we're filling up the Go kit, we're talking to the parents about the emergency kit for the kids. And at the end, we talk to them a little bit about what needs to go into the family emergency kit, the pet emergency kit, the senior emergency kit, the disabled emergency kit, and what needs to go into their business if they have a business. So it's a movement. My goal and my vision is to help 30 million people be better prepared and more resilient, because once you're prepared, you're resilient. Respond like a first responder. You just react. Your brain doesn't have to go anywhere. So, okay, I know I get on my high horse just a little bit,
Fine. I mean, you fine because people need to know this because a lot of people ain't prepared. And I'm gonna be honest. Once COVID hit, that all came around. I started having a prepping mindset. I started preparing, getting extra this, getting that. You can never have enough of this or that. So I understand where you're coming from. And when you speak on the kids, I have 3 kids of my own, so I understand. And I'm just telling my lady like it's time. Everything I'm doing is for my kids. So for you to create that kit, you know, that's wise. That's good. That's a good
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you. Well, one of the things I've written, my 6th book is When the Unthinkable Happens, Be Prepared, Be Ready. And I wrote it as a reference guide. It's not a book that's going to go, you're going to read it and put it on a bookshelf. It gives you what you need to have in your kids. It needs to have what plans you need to have. It talks about the mindset, how to communicate with your kids, all of that. So it goes in the emergency kits or wherever you put your refrigerator manual, the things that you can have to access once in a while, right? It needs to be looked at every single year. So DeMarcus, if you have your logo down here, and this is in their emergency kit, and you have an opportunity to call them, or you could, like I've got all kinds of information you could provide them on a regular basis, and you say to them, you need to pull out your kit. They're looking at your logo. And you could also put, like, I recommend you put like a bookmark or something like that in that talks about your services and stuff, because they're going to be seeing this every year, especially if you prompt them to, right? So that's why I wrote this book. And it is a number one. It's a number one new release. It's a number one in real estate. It's a number one in the survival and preparedness. So,
Congratulations, Myers. Congratulations.
well, I've done it all because I'm so passionate about this. And some people say, why 30 million? Well, it's not a big number in reality. So there's all kinds of numbers that say how much people are going to be prepared, anywhere from 15% to 35%. I use the number 20%. And I think I'm being very generous when I say 20%. That means that there's some people out there that have a bag that has some water and food in it and a flashlight, right? Which is nowhere near what you need to have. By the way, the number one thing you need to have in your kits is cash in small bills. Because if the electricity goes out, what are you going to do? You can't use your credit cards. So have cash, but then there's a whole list in the book that tells you what else. But 30 million only takes it from 20% to 25% of people being prepared, if I use 20% as my number. So it sounds like it is a big vision and it's a big goal. But if I have people like DeMarcus out there talking about this, if I go to churches, if I go to schools, if I go to civic organizations, and I have these people all around the country that are going out and talking about preparedness, and, you know, we all need to be sustainable. As a matter of fact, it's getting very, very critical. We need to reduce our greenhouse gases by 40% by 2030. How many years is that? Not very many. We have to get rid of their greenhouse gases by 2050. Or think about our kids. I have a great grandson who's 6 years old. They say it's going to take 25 to 40 years for all of the greenhouse gases that we've already put into the atmosphere to come out. He's going to be 46 years old if it's 40 years, for God's sakes. What kind of world is he going to live in? So we teach sustainability. I call it the journey to sustainability with the power of preparedness. And here's the bottom line. If you have a business or you want to reach the community or you just want to make a difference, my motto is do well by doing good. And in reality, when we, as we all know, when we are coming from our heart, when we're giving, we get back tenfold. I've shown many a professional that they can make more money by doing this than anything else. No flyer, no nothing is going to make a bigger difference than giving back to your community.
And that make a lot of sense because everything you saying, that's how I think. Giving bring abundance. And I like how you focus on the youth because I focus on the youth as well because they are upcoming. So if our youth is misguided and people like you or me not speaking or helping them, who will do it? So I like everything you doing, Miss Conner. Miss Connie, I just want to ask you. So, how long have you had your nonprofit organization? How long has this been up and running?
Well, like I said, I started out with the for-profit, and I was trying to get to adults. And it was in 2021 that I talked to somebody, and they said, you might want to think about making it a nonprofit. I got my, I incorporated as a nonprofit in 2021 in September. I got my official 501c3 early part of 2022. And then I started forming, I need to talk about, I started forming my board of directors and my advisory board. And we had our fifth board of directors meeting. We're having one next week. That I've got 9 absolutely amazing people. I have 2 mentors, one of which has been in the nonprofit world for 25 years. She's helped fundraise $150 million, her and her team. So she's my mentor. And I have another mentor who comes from the real estate world, because most of my world has been in the real estate space. Never been a realtor myself, but always around it. So we formed a nonprofit. We had our first advisory board meeting 3 weeks ago. We're having our next one in 4 weeks. So it's new. As a matter of fact, this is perfect timing because we are going to have our first fundraiser starting next week. So I'm going to be putting out to the public, and I'm going to be putting out podcasts. I'm going to be posting this, that please, please, please go to our website. It's bepreparedbeready.org. Reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. You see the spelling of my name. It's not your typical Connie. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. Reach out to me. If you want to be involved in your community, reach out to me and let me tell you how you can benefit your community and benefit yourself all at the same time. So reach out to me. We'll be putting some information out. DeMarcus, I'll send it to you and you can share it with your network. But let's get this going. Our first goal is to have 2,000 of these Go Kits, which will cost $30,000. And then we need to have the overhead taken care of, so we're figuring our first ask is going to be about 50 grand. But I don't think we're going to have any problem raising that because people understand why this is so important.
You got to protect the babies. And it's funny you say you have mentors concerning the nonprofit, because that's what I want to do, start a nonprofit for our SOY. Like, I did some research. SOY is an acronym for Saving Our Youth. And me and another my business partner, we talked about this, but that's what I really want to do. I know it's a lot of work behind starting a nonprofit.
Yeah, I was telling somebody yesterday, if I would have known what it was going to be like, I might have reconsidered the whole idea. But but if I can help you, DeMarcus, and this sounds like something that we could partner up together with.
I need help. See, sometimes people don't. I tell people in this dying age, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. Don't connect with the right people. I don't never try to be the smartest in the room, because I want to learn as well. And that's what I want to do. I want to save our youth, and I want to do a nonprofit. Like, I ain't gonna say I read a book, but I ain't finished reading. I started reading the book, but that's how I know it's a lot of work behind starting a nonprofit. But I'm passionate about helping others. I want to see others win, because I heard a lot of great people say it, like Bob Prakula, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale. A lot of the greats said, when you help others win, the universe gonna help you win.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, DeMarcus, when I started talking to people about helping me, my advisory board, I have 9 people on my board of directors, but I have 28 people on my advisory board. And when you look at their bios, like, people say to me, how do you know these people? I said, I just started talking to people and telling them what I'm doing. And they're people that maybe knew me for a long time in the real estate space, or maybe they just met me. But yesterday I talked to 4 people on OWL, and every single one of you said, can I help? Like this, thank you for doing this podcast. I mean, this was just such a gift. So the people that are on it, I am the most blessed woman on the planet. I have 7 kids, 3 of my own, 4 stepchildren. They're not children, stepchildren. They're not my kids. They have beautiful spouses. They all get along. That I have grandchildren that are doing amazing things. And now I have this cute, adorable great grandson. So, and then I have all of my friends and everybody that's rallying around me. So I could not be more blessed. And you know why I'm blessed? Because I'm doing this work and I am 100% passionate about it. It's my legacy. To me, okay, I want to get that nonprofit up and going. And then I've got an amazing executive director, and I've got an amazing operations director, and I've got an amazing board. I want to step away and let them run it. They're younger and they can bring new energy to it. I want to be the spokesperson and I want to write. That's my role in all of this because it's my legacy. It's not something that's like, it's not ego. It's not about me. It's about how we can spread the word and make it better.
And that's how I think. I'm with NBC, My Daily Choice, and I have like, I'm not exaggerating, I probably have like 18 affiliates under me. I'm an upline, but I make it my all to check on each and every one, and I don't mind being a leader that step down and let the other person lead. Because
isn't that what John Maxwell is all about? You know, if you are leading and nobody's following, you're just going for a walk.
That's it. And that's what I was just going to say. John Maxwell said that in the book I'm reading. I like how he gave that analogy. How and like I said, I love everybody on my team. But he was saying if you got a team, the ones you know that's your goats or the golden child, he said put your energy in them. And I love my whole team, but I put my energy, 80% of my energy into the ones that I know that's ready to go. And it's not a selfish thing. It's just if you put a lot of energy into something like, or you can put a lot of energy and time in something else, and you can miss the big prize. So I love everybody on my team. And look, I know if y'all watching this, I love everybody on my team. We Team Unstoppable. I love y'all. I'm not throwing shots. I'm just saying the ones that's ready, that's who I put my energy into. So I understand, Miss Connie, what you're saying about, because I'm getting to the point, this is how I feel. Like, I tell everybody I sign up, you can look it up, go on my profile, and everybody I sign, I even got people that's under my team in Nigeria. But everybody pinpointed, they are special to me, and they special in their own way. And I'm a type, like, I don't want to just lead. I don't mind playing number two. I step down. So that's why I pick leaders who can run plays too. So I understand everything you're saying. Everything.
I think that when I went through my life mastery consulting, it was Mary Morrissey who worked with Nelson Mandela, and she worked with the Dalai Lama. She was the president of the UN's United Peace Initiative for a couple of years. She had a church in Portland. And she was 100% my mentor. She's in my book, Crystalline Moments, and she has an incredible story. And she always said that you have to you bring people to the fold, and then you help them bloom and blossom, right? And I always go back to what John Mack. I love the line. You know, if you're a leader and nobody's following, you're just walking.
Yeah. John Maxwell, I don't even lie. Shout out to you, John Maxwell, like, cause he helped to be like, he a great leader. I ain't gonna even lie, and the stuff he say is simple. Like a child can catch it. A newborn can probably hear that and be like, "Goo goo gaga," because he understand it. That's how his reads are so simple. So as me stepping into a leadership position, cause I heard you mention, like, everything you was going through in life preparing you for this moment. I feel like everything I went through in life, far as me modeling, far as me being in this company, it just preparing me to be a leader. That's how, like, modeling really gave me the comfortability to be behind the camera or doing what we doing now. Then I've been with another company, not gonna say the name, but it helped me really become a people person because I had to go out there and check on people, go out and eat with them, meet with them, give them bus passes, and that was years ago. So everything I went through in life was preparing me for this moment. That's why I can say I consider myself a great person, a great leader, all the above. Even when I made mistakes, I still feel like I'm a great person because my pain became my purpose and my purpose became my passion.
Absolutely. I have to applaud you. Everybody out there, whether you believe it or not, everything happens for a reason, a positive reason. It's a crystalline moment. There's always a gift or opportunity. And when you start believing that, and every single day, every decision we make, no matter how little or how big, is guiding us down that path, that crystalline moment path. And when we follow our heart, versus our head, we are guided in the right direction. Whatever your belief system, whether it's God or universe or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're being guided in that direction. And when you truly follow that, my two granddaughters are in my book, and one of them was 7, and the other one was 9 when I interviewed them for the book. My 7-year-old, she was getting headaches at night, and out of that headache would come a fashion design. My other granddaughter, she was philanthropic when she was 10 years old. She was doing amazing things. She started out when she was 5. She wanted everybody to bring cans of food instead of gifts at her birthday parties. And then she went up to teddy bears because the police needed teddy bears. And then she got her first degree black belt, and she raised $10,000 for a well in Kenya and a well in Ethiopia for clean water. And her next one was when the Haiti earthquake happened. She raised $15,000 for a well for a school that has 500 kids. And when she was asked, when she was like 13, she was interviewed. And they said, so what's your next big endeavor? Because she was going for her 3rd degree. And she says, all my philanthropic, she's 13, all my philanthropic endeavors so far have been about clean water. And she says, I want to do something about world hunger. So she and another person was going after the 3rd degree. They put the minds together, and they worked with somebody at some organization, and they came up with a nutrition bar that fights malnutrition, and they donated it to the nonprofit. So I watched those girls. They innately did their crystalline moments. They innately followed my fashion designer. She now has done her own Paris fashion show. She was at the Chanel. She has clothing that she sells online and she has offices in Paris and London and New York now. And she's 21 years old. I'm sorry, 22. She just had a birthday. 22.
We can talk, Miss Connie. I believe I did send you my number throughout. We got to discuss some things because everything you're saying is actually lining up into the vision that I have up here. So it's a reason we met. That's why I say y'all that's viewing in who gonna watch this, please tap into that OWL app. I'm telling you, you can meet such amazing people on there. Tap in.
I agree, 100%. OWL, OWWLL. All right. Well, DeMarcus, I just thank you so much for this platform, and thank you for the way that you think, and thank you for wanting to make a difference and forming a nonprofit, and anything I can do at all to help you. You've got me. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. No, and thank you for coming on to share this wonderful information. And for all those who are going to view this, Miss Coni Meyers, how can they reach out to you if they want to support? How can they find you? Where are you located at? They want to know about it.
The most important thing is look at the spelling of the name. The first name is Coni. That's what a 16-year-old did. They got an easy name and made it difficult. But you can find me on all the social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. I've got 3-4 accounts on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but it's under CKM Foundation. It's not under my name. And then on LinkedIn, you can find me there. The website is Be Prepared, Be Ready. This book, When the Unthinkable Happens, Be Prepared, Be Ready, and Crystalline Moments are both on Amazon. If you want a signed copy, you can email me through the website. You can download a free copy of the book if you go to the website, bepreparedbeready.org, and you can download a free copy of the book.
Well, viewers, y'all heard it from the best. Thank you so much, Ms. Myers, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's early where you at, but thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, DeMarcus. I look forward to talking with you a lot more.
Man, you have a wonderful year, a wonderful week.
It is going to be gangbusters. I can just tell you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.